Good morning, evening, and night, everyone. Welcome to Starklet's Nook, aka my Nook. Today is our first hangout session out of many hangout sessions to come. And for today, I will be talking about what you guys can expect from me and my little Nook. By the way, I brought a little friend called Mrs. Rabbit, and she only has one eye because I lost the other one. First, I will introduce myself to you guys. I love Iron Man. I feel like I need to address this very early on. Hence my username, Starklet's Nook. Because, Iron Man, Tony Stark, Starklet, if you get it, if you know. So for today, I will be talking about my love for books to sort of like introduce myself to you guys, because like books will be a pretty big thing about this Nook, so I'm gonna be talking about that. But other than books, in the future episodes I will also be talking about like my random thoughts, maybe random life updates, just a lot of other stuff that I will establish later on, because right now all I can think about is books. Okay, so I will tell you guys a little story. I don't know if it's gonna be a little story or not, because I like to ramble. I've always been a big book lover, and I used to drown myself in books. Like hours spent on reading and going to the library. I used to just run to the library the moment school ends and continue the series I'm reading, and I don't know, I would think about the characters all day. I feel like this applies to me until now, but I see the book characters as my friends. And I don't know, something I really want this podcast to become is an encouraging like media to like encourage you guys to like reading. If you already like reading books, then that's great, welcome to the family. But if you are not a big fan of books, I really hope I can sort of like change your mind, because books are so great. And sadly, this generation, Gen Zs, are not big readers. I mean, a portion of us Gen Zs are big readers, but in this era of fast information, instant data, it's easy to lose our passion and will to learn by ourselves. I think there's actually like the actual literal information, but I need to read the script to know. Oh, let me like just look at the script. The Walton Family Foundation and Gallup 2025 Voices of Gen Z study found that 35% of Gen Z K-12 students say they dislike reading, and 43% say they rarely or never read for fun. Like, isn't that so sad? Like, I as a book lover, I'm so sad. It's like I want everybody to know the joy of reading books, because reading books is so useful, so fun, and everything. I don't know. I can't imagine my life without books. So, yeah. I feel like it's easy to lose ourselves in the middle of this era of easy, like you can easily access the internet, like easily access info, and although that's like generally a good thing, I'm glad everybody gets access to information to the internet, and everybody, like literally everybody, can learn. Sadly, this also opens up a new problem, which is the fact that people nowadays are just too lazy or don't have the interest to learn by themselves. That is very sad, because I think the most valuable lessons are learned when we find the lessons ourselves. It's different, when you read a book or you watch a movie and then you conclude something by yourself and you learn something that applies to yourself from those movies and stuff. It's different than just searching up ChatGPT like blah blah blah, and then ChatGPT will just give you like the whole answers. And I've fallen into that trap multiple times, because it is comfortable, and I know I love getting instant information. It's like sometimes you're just not in the mood to search the whole internet or read a ton of books just to get one piece of information, right? But I just think it's sad, the will to read, the will to learn is not that frequent. It's not that commonly found in this generation, and I really hope we can like improve that. Yeah, well, I personally feel like we can definitely improve that with the books. By the way, I haven't really read this book, so it's just a prop. I will probably talk about this in a future video. It's called Here So Close But I Didn't Know. If you guys are interested, by Hoshino Tomihiro. I don't know, I'll talk about it later. I mean, in another episode, but basically, I think books are a really good media to learn, I think through books, you get to learn and experience things, You get to, it's like very close to like actually experiencing something and learning from it. And I think books are not only words to read, but books are an experience. Books is an experience. I don't know the right grammar. Every book I finish, almost every book I finish, the moment I finish it, I will have a valuable lesson I keep in my heart after I'm done reading it. Because you truly learn a lot from books. For me, books are like windows to another world, and we get into the characters. Like, I like fantasy and books that have characters in them, so I usually literally become the character, like the main character of the book or something. I saw a quote somewhere on the internet that said that you like and love the characters you love because you see yourself in them. And I think that's so true. We're not literally going to be the exact same person as the character we're reading, but something about the character speaks to us and reminds us of ourselves, which makes us curious and makes us read it. And I feel like just books put us in crazy shoes, if you get what I mean. It's like we can literally become a princess in another world, an ice princess or something, and have dragons and have the most charming prince in the whole entire like world or something. But the thing about books is it shows you that even in that bizarre, dreamy world, the characters there face the same exact things that we face. The princess I so gladly admire also has her own insecurities, also thinks the way I think, also has her own destructive tendencies and her own negative aspects of herself, her selfishness and everything. And I think that is so cool and so precious. You can see yourself in characters that are beyond imagination, beyond reality, and it gives us comfort. Like, even if hypothetically I was a mermaid living her life, I would still have those feelings, those ugly feelings in my heart. And I learn a lot from them, from how they face the things, their struggles. And I just think books are great. Other than like relating to them and seeing our own problems as humans, especially me as a teenage girl, in another teenage girl living a whole different life than me in that fictional world, I also see myself and learn a lot from the characters I dislike. Actually, this is a factor, like a phenomenon that came to me personally as I grew older. Because when I was a little kid, I hated morally gray characters. I hated villains. I was just a very goody two-shoes when I was a kid, even though I actually was not. I liked to claim myself as a goody two-shoes, but it's just to make myself feel good. I do have ugly thoughts in my head, and just like any other human, we're imperfect. I still hate annoying characters until this day and age for me, but nowadays I can sympathize with them way more. And some of my favorite characters are actually the bad, like the considered bad or annoying ones, because of course as a kid we hated those villains. We hated people who hurt the main character, which is usually our favorite character. But nowadays I can actually see myself in them, like the decisions they make out of their selfishness, the decisions they make out of their pride. It's something that we do too on a daily basis. And the step to learning from the annoying, the negative characters that people hate is to stop judging them from an audience perspective, to just immerse yourself in the book. I think it's very effective because in that moment you realize, I am like this person. I also make decisions like this person. And that is what I like about a book, like about books in general. Like the difference between books and movies is like, on movies you just see the decision the person makes. Okay, let's say the villain stabs the hero. Okay, you get annoyed. Maybe you get some backstory, a sad backstory, you sympathize. But the thing about books, usually, I mean, like, I guess it depends on how they're written, but I prefer books that show how they think, the inner turmoil. You get to see it, and it feels human. It feels like you feel like the person, and you sympathize with the person, and you realize the decisions you make will probably be the exact same as the villains, because we're selfish humans. And sometimes we kind of label ourselves in the goody two-shoes part of the story, even though we're not. And I like morally gray characters because of that, because it makes us, it gives us like a mirror to just see ourselves. You hate this character? Well, that's you. And in real life, that's how you act, that's how you make decisions. And I think that's so cool about books. And that is why I think books really make you learn stuff. I mean, it all depends on the person. Like this book, I actually haven't finished this book, but this book or another book, like a fantasy book, like say Harry Potter. One person could read it and learn something, and another person could read it and learn something totally different than the other person. I could read it and learn about sacrifice, about selfishness, about pride, from Draco Malfoy, something like that. But somebody else could see it and learn about, what else can I think about? About parenthood or something. It all depends on where we are on our own lives, and that will affect what we learn from the books we read. And that is why I really love books. That's the difference, If you search it on ChatGPT, it will only, or on an AI app, it will only give you a list of things you can learn from a book. Like, what can I learn from this book? Or like, what can I learn? It will give you like a damn list of things you can learn from that. But that's different. You just read it. You're like, oh, okay, that's good, that's great. But it's different than actually reading the book. Putting yourself in the book, thinking and putting your emotions, your brain, your thoughts in the book, and learning something from the book. Because you get to see yourself in the books. You won't just learn what the AI app told you about. Maybe it will be about what the AI app told you about, or what Google says it teaches you about, but it will be different because you will see you in there. Maybe you see a selfish character. You read a selfish character. You read her thoughts, her mind, her inner turmoil, and you will see yourself in there. You will maybe remember, oh, I did this once. I have once hurt my friend, just like how she hurt her friend, because of my own selfish decisions, selfish thoughts. And I think that is beautiful about books. And I think books really shape us to be better humans. I mean, I guess as long as our mindset is right, though. And that is why I think books are so important. I think reading, whether it is fiction or non-fiction, lets us learn things and keep those valuable lessons with us for a long, long time. That is why I love reading. I truly think literature has a way of changing people, of shaping our minds. Of course, we can't fully depend on literature. There's so many other aspects in life, like our parents, the decisions we make on ourselves. We can't keep blaming how we turn out to be from external factors, but ourselves, our religion, and so many other factors. But I think literature has a big role. So, well, yeah, I guess that is it for today's ramble. I hope you guys would like to join me on my journey of learning things and living my life. I'm 17, by the way. I hope you've decided to come along in my journey of learning, a journey that will last a lifetime. Okay. you know what? I'm gonna read the actual script because I like what the script is saying more than what I'm saying. I hope this little corner of the world, my nook, can be a safe space for you all to talk about stuff and to learn stuff. And that is all for today. See you next Monday, everyone. Have a magical day and God bless you.